Dear students, myself Dr. B.V. Puttaswamaya, working as biology lecturer in Mahatma Gandhi Government PU College, Kunigal, Tumkur district. I welcome you all for this Gnana Taranga CET program organized by Department of Pre-University Education, Karnataka. Today we are going to discuss about the topic structural organization in animals. To know about the structural organization in animals, as we have learned in different topics like different types of tissues and organs organization in the previous topics. Animals are made up of different types of tissues, organs and organ systems. To know about the organization, we need to have the idea about different types of tissues first. In this topic, the main points which we need to recall are different types of animal tissues and their function, structural aspects, and second one, morphology and anatomy of three important animals. According to your syllabus, we need to learn about the earthworm, cockroach and frog morphology and anatomy. To know about different types of tissues, as we are aware, there are four different types of tissues are present. Number one, epithelial tissue, which is the covering tissue, which covers the external and internal body parts. In this, there are two types, simple epithelium and compound epithelium. Simple epithelial tissues are made up of single layer of cells, but the compound epithelial cells are multi-layered. Let us talk about simple epithelial tissues first. They are of three different types: squamous, columnar, ciliated and cuboidal. Some of the columnar epithelial cells, which are column-like uninucleated cells, which contain at the free surface, they have thin hair-like structures called cilia. They are called ciliated epithelial cells. The cells which are compactly arranged and forms the inner lining of alveoli, etc., are the squamous epithelial cells, and the cuboidal epithelial cells are in the form of cube shape, which forms the inner surface of kidney tubules or nephrons. The second one is compound epithelium. As I told you, they are multi-layered, but the simple epithelial cells are unicellular, single layer of cells. The second one is connective tissue. In the connective tissue, there are two types. One is loose connective tissue and the second one is dense connective tissue, is based on the arrangement of cells and fibers. In case of loose connective tissue, the cells and the fibers are loosely arranged in the matrix. There are two different types of fibers present in areola tissue. They are collagenous fibers and thin thread-like highly branched elastin fibers, which gives flexibility and strength to the connective tissue. The second one is adipose tissue, is specialized for its storage of fat. Fat-filled cells are the adipose tissue, which are present just below the skin, which maintains the body temperature. It acts like a thermo-insulator to the body. The second one is dense connective tissue. In case of dense connective tissue, the cells and the fibers, especially the fibers, are compactly arranged. If the fibers are arranged in the form of in an orderly manner called dense regular connective tissue. If the fibers and cells are randomly arranged inside the matrix, this is the matrix and these are the fibers, collagenous fibers. If they are randomly arranged, called dense irregular. Move on to the next type of connective tissue. They are the specialized connective tissue like cartilage, bone and the blood. Cartilaginous tissue consists of collagenous fibers. Remember, collagen is one of the protein which is rich in animals. The most abundant protein in animals is collagen fibers made up of collagen protein. It's present in the matrix of the cartilage and the cells of the cartilage called chondrocytes. Second one is bone, which is ossified, contain calcium carbonate salts and the matrix rich in calcium carbonate salts are rich in matrix, and the cells of the bone called osteocytes. The cavity present inside the bone called bone marrow, and within the body of the bone there are minute openings are present through which the transportation of blood vessels and lymphatic vessels takes place in this region called Haverson Canal. and this entire system is called Haverson system. Move on to the next connective tissue is commonly called fluid connective tissue, helps in transportation of nutrients, food materials, respiratory gases, etc., and also helps in the defensive mechanism and helps in blood clotting. All these three different types of tissues together to form blood fluid connective tissue contain RBC, red blood cells or erythrocytes, WBC, white blood cells or leukocytes, and third one, thrombocytes or platelets, helps in clotting of blood. Move on to the next type of tissue called muscular tissue or muscle tissue, which provides shape, strength, flexibility to the body, in which there are three types. Number one, striated muscle or skeletal muscle, which is associated with the skeletal system. It is multinucleated tubular structures with alternative dark and light striations are present. Second one is smooth muscle tissue, which is spindle shaped uninucleated structures. And third one, cardiac muscle, which is highly specialized, it's branched, multinucleated, and it contains special wall thickenings called intercalated discs. This intercalated discs helps in the spreading of cardiac impulses to the ventricles and helps in contraction and relaxation of the ventricular muscles of the heart during heartbeat. Move on to the next type of tissue called neural tissue, which helps in conduction of nerve impulses from one place to another place, helps in the recognition of touch, taste, etc. In this, there are majorly two types of neural tissues are present. Number one, the cell which helps in the conduction of nerve impulse called neuron, and the cells which are present around the neuron which act like supportive as well as protective structures called neuroglial cells. Neuroglial cells function is to protect and support the nerve conduction by the neuron. Move on to the next heading in this chapter. In this chapter, we need to learn about morphology and anatomy of three different types of organisms. The first one is earthworm. Morphology is the study of external features of the organism. Anatomy is the study of internal structural aspects of the organism. First, let us take the external morphological features of the earthworm. As we know, earthworms are commonly called farmer's friend because they helps in the decomposition process and also the enrichment of nitrogen in the soil. Earthworms, the body of the earthworm is segmented, and externally it can be divided into three major parts. Number one, the preclitellar part. Clitellum is the band-like structure present at 14th, 15th and 16th segment. The portion which is present prior to the clitellum called preclitellar part, and the clitellar part where the clitellum is present, and the posterior part which is next to the clitellum called the postclitellar part. The anterior tip of the earthworm consists of a tongue-like structure called prostomium, which act like a sensory structure, and the first segment is called the peristomium, where the mouth is present. At the clitellum region, you can see the presence of male as well as female genital openings. In the postclitellar part, at the ventral side, you can see the presence of thin microscopic hair-like structures called setae, which helps in locomotion. Move on to the anatomical part, the internal structure. Let us take one by one. Let us have the details of alimentary canal or the digestive system of earthworm. Digestive system of earthworm starts with mouth, which is present at the first segment, and the pharynx, esophagus or food pipe, and the gizzard part. Gizzard is the part where the grinding of soil as well as decomposing material takes place. The storage of food takes place at the stomach, and The major part in this is the intestine. This is the intestinal part. The inner surface of the intestine is called typhlosole. It consists of thin infoldings, hair-like structures, is almost like villi in small intestine. The villi of small intestine which increase surface area for absorption. In the same manner, even typhlosole provides maximum surface area for the absorption of nutrients. Move on to the excretory system or nephridial system in earthworm. There are three types of nephridia for the elimination of nitrogenous waste in earthworm. They are pharyngeal nephridia, which are present in the early segments. Second one is integumentary nephridia, and third one is septal nephridia. Nephridia are the excretory organs, as I told you, which helps in the elimination of nitrogenous waste, and the vermicompost is the undigested waste or partially digested waste which comes out of the body of the earthworm, are rich in nitrogen, which is one of the macronutrient responsible for normal growth and development as well as for the reproduction in plants. Move on to the reproductive system of earthworm. Reproductive system of earthworm consists of spermatheca, which stores the sperms. Before this, earthworm is a hermaphrodite or bisexual animal which contain both male as well as female reproductive parts. It contains ovary as well as testes. In the 6th, 7th, 8th and 9th segment, you can see the presence of spermatheca, which stores the sperms, because earthworms nalli ಮೇಲ್ ಮತ್ತು ಫೀಮೇಲ್ ರಿಪ್ರೊಡಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಎರಡೂ ಇದ್ರೂ ಸಹ ಫರ್ಟಿಲೈಸೇಷನ್ ಸೆಲ್ಫ್ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಅಂದರೆ ಅದರಲ್ಲೇ ಇರುವಂಥ ಸ್ಪರ್ಮ್ಸ್ಗಳು ಅದರಲ್ಲೇ ಇರೋ ಎಗ್ಸ್ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಫ್ಯೂಸ್ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಇದು ಎವಲ್ಯೂಷನ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಹೊಸ ಕ್ಯಾರೆಕ್ಟರ್ಸನ್ನು ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡೋದನ್ನು ಕಮ್ಮಿ ಮಾಡಿಸುತ್ತೆ ಅನ್ನೋ ಕಾರಣಕ್ಕೆ ಎವಲ್ಯೂಷನ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ಅನಿಮಲ್ ಅರ್ಥ್ವಮ್ ಈಸ್ ಅಡಾಪ್ಟೆಡ್ ಫಾರ್ ಕ್ರಾಸ್ ಫರ್ಟಿಲೈಸೇಷನ್. ಇಟ್ ಫ್ಯೂಸ್ ವಿತ್ ದಿ ಅದರ್ ಅನಿಮಲ್ in the opposite direction and transfer sperms of one animal into the spermatheca of the other animal. Sperms which are stored in spermatheca, they involve in the fertilization process. Fertilization takes place in the specialized mucus cup-like structure secreted by the clitellum called cocoon. Move on to the next anatomical important structure of the earthworm called circulatory system. As we are aware, the only invertebrate which contain closed circulatory system is Annelida, and in this one of the Annelida is earthworm. Earthworm consists of closed circulatory system, that is transportation of blood takes place through the definite blood vessels. These blood vessels are dorsal in position, called dorsal vessels or dorsal blood vessels or dorsal circulatory system. It consists of lateral hearts are present, which helps in the pumping of blood in one direction. Blood is red in color, which contain hemoglobin. Move on to the next animal is cockroach. In the cockroach, we need to learn morphology as well as anatomical structures. First, let us take the external morphological characters of cockroach. Cockroach consists of three important parts. The body parts are divided into three regions. Number one, head, anterior part, middle, thoracic region, and posterior abdomen. Head consists of antenna, sensory organs, and a pair of compound eyes which are made up of numerous simple eyes called ommatidia, which produce mosaic vision. The second important part is thoracic region. Thoracic region is divided into three parts. Number one, prothoracic, mesothoracic, and metathoracic region, which contain three pairs of legs at the ventral side and two pairs of legs at the dorsal side. There are two pairs of wings are present. Wings, the wing which is dark brown in color attached to the second segment of the thorax called tegmina, and the wings which are attached to the metathoracic region called hind wings. These are the wings which actually helps in active flight. The head and the mouth parts present in cockroach. Head consists of a pair of antenna, ossicles, compound eyes are present, mandible, maxilla, labium and labrum are the different mouth parts. Here in this picture they have enlarged the mouth parts of the cockroach. In this, labrum is the upper lip which cover the mouth from upper surface, and the second one is labium, which is commonly called the lower lip, which covers the mouth from the lower side. There is a tongue-like structure called hypopharynx present at the center, which is homologous with the tongue, and a pair of mandible which helps in capturing and grinding of food, and a pair of maxilla which acts like sensory structures present on either side of the mouth. So total labium, labrum, labium, lower lip, upper lip, tongue-like structure hypopharynx, mandible for grinding, a pair of mandibles and a pair of maxilla. These are the parts present in the mouth of cockroach. Circulatory system in case of cockroach is of open type, and there are no well developed blood capillaries, but it has heart with numerous chambers. Each heart is controlled by the contraction relaxation of the heart for the movement of blood within the body is controlled by Alari muscles, but the blood is called hemolymph, and which is white in color without red color pigments, or hemoglobin is absent and without blood vessels, so called open circulatory system. Move on to the next important anatomical structure is digestive system. Digestive system of cockroach is almost similar to higher animals. All the parts present in higher or human beings are almost present in the cockroach. Starts with mouth at the ventral side, and it continues as a tube-like structure called esophagus. At the esophagus region, at the tip of the esophagus, we can see the presence of a pair of salivary glands, helps in the softening of the food. There is a sac-like structure which is the reservoir of food materials called crop, is homologous with the stomach. Just below the stomach or crop, there is a band-like structure called gizzard, which contain internal teeth, helps in the grinding of food. Below the gizzard, there are few or 5 to 6 thin hair-like structures called hepatic ceca are present, which produce enzymes, helps in the digestion of the food, is homologous with our liver. Below hepatic ceca is the midgut, and the posterior part is called the hindgut. In the midgut region or mesenteron, completion of digestion and absorption of food materials takes place. Below the midgut, there are few yellow colored thin hair-like structures called the Malpighian tubules. Important, these Malpighian tubules are the excretory structures, helps in the elimination of nitrogenous waste from the body. They are the actual excretory structures of cockroach. Rectum is the part where the storage of undigested waste takes place, and there is anus here, through which elimination of undigested as well as the nitrogenous waste from the Malpighian tubules comes out of the body. These two pictures explains about the reproductive system of the cockroach. This is the reproductive system of male cockroach, and here is the female cockroach. You can see the presence of testes, and the important thing, you can differentiate between male and a female cockroach by looking at the posterior end. Abdomen of the female cockroach is comparatively broader compared to male, and the second, external morphological sexual dimorphism character can be seen in cockroach, that is, at the posterior end we can see the presence of caudal style, a pair of thin thread-like structures present at the posterior end of the male cockroach, present only in male cockroach, absent in female cockroach, which helps to hold the male at the time, hold the female at the time of copulation or transfer of sperms into the female body. Move on to the next anatomical characters of The next important animal, frog. This diagram shows the complete digestive system, excretory system and also circulatory system, a brief circulatory system of frog. In this completely they have explained the digestive structure, digestive system of the cockroach. Starts with esophagus, the tip of the esophagus connected with the mouth, and the digestive glands called liver are present, storage organ, stomach, intestine, rectum, and the opening which is common for both the gametes as well as for the undigested waste as well as for the elimination of nitrogenous waste, called cloaca. Cloaca is the cloacal aperture, or cloaca is the common opening through which the elimination of nitrogenous waste, undigested waste takes place. These are the pictures of male and female reproductive system of frog. Here the reproductive system is commonly called urinogenital system, because here the urinary system or kidney and the reproductive system, testes and ovary, are united and they have a common passage called cloacal aperture. At the cloacal aperture you can see the presence of even urinary bladder which stores urine released from the urethra. Here these are the ovary. This is the ovary which produce ova, which are collected by the funnel shaped structure present at the tip of the oviduct and release at cloaca. From the or through the cloaca, release of eggs takes place into the water medium. In the same manner, even the sperms from the testes release through the cloaca into the water. In the water medium, fertilization or the fusion of gametes takes place. This type of fertilization in frog, where the fusion of gametes takes place in the water medium, called external fertilization. Now let us take some of the objective questions from this chapter. The first question, the type of epithelial cell lying in the inner surface of the fallopian tube, bronchioles, are known as. The cells which are present in the inner surface of the fallopian tube they contain thin hair-like structures at the free end called cilia, and such epithelial cells are called ciliated epithelial cells. Squamous epithelium present in the inner surface of lungs, alveolar wall. Columnar epithelial cells present in the inner surface of the stomach, intestine, which forms microvilli, helps in the absorption of food materials. Cuboidal epithelial cells present in the inner surface of kidney tubules or nephron, and in the fallopian tube or bronchioles, ciliated epithelial cells are present. Ciliated epithelial cells is the answer for this question. Move on to the next question. The specialized cell junctions such as tight and adhering tight junctions, adhering junctions and gap junctions are found in. These junctions, tight junction, gap junctions, adhering junctions, are the connections, proteinaceous connections present between the epithelial cells, which helps in cell to cell communication. Such adhering junctions, tight and gap junctions present only in case of epithelial tissue, absent in neural, connective and muscular tissue. So the answer for this question is epithelial tissue. Next question. Tendons are the connective tissue which attach. Tendons and ligaments are the two important tissues which join the muscle with bone and bone to bone. The ligaments are the connective tissue. Which link bone to bone. Ligament join bone with bone, but the tendons are the connective tissue which connects skeletal muscle with the bone, which gives flexibility to the bones and strength. Skeletal muscles with the bones, which provides extra strength for the carrying weight, for the movement, for sitting, standing, etc. Pick the odd one based on the tissue type. Here we have given 4 different options: areola tissue, blood tissue, neuron and tendon, in which areola tissue is connective tissue, blood tissue is also a type of connective tissue, tendon is also a type of connective tissue, but neuron helps in the transportation of or conduction of nerve impulse. It comes under a separate category. We have learned about 4 different types of tissues like epithelial, connective, muscular and neural tissue. A, B and D are the types of connective tissues, but neuron helps in conduction of nerve impulses. It's a different types, and in this is the odd one. Option C is the answer for 4th question. Match the epithelial tissue given in column 1 with their location given in column 2. Choose the correct answer from the options given below. In the column 1 they have given 4 different types of epithelial tissues, and in column 2 they have given their functions and locations. We need to match column A, column 1 with column 2. Cuboidal epithelial cells associated with lining of stomach and intestine, no. In the lining of stomach and intestine, columnar epithelial cells are present. In the walls of the blood vessel, squamous epithelial cells are present. Nephrons in kidney are made up of cuboidal epithelial cells. Ciliated epithelial cells are present in cuboidal epithelial cells present in the stomach and intestine. Ciliated epithelial cells are present in the inner lining of fallopian tube. So one match with cuboidal epithelial cells, A. 2 match with inner lining of fallopian tube, columnar epithelial cells. Cuboidal epithelial cells, correct ಇದೆ. Cuboidal epithelial cells, nephrons of kidney. Ciliated epithelial cells, inner lining of fallopian tube. Columnar epithelial cells, lining of stomach and intestine, and squamous epithelial cells in the inner wall of the blood vessels. So the answer is option C. Move on to the next question. Haversian system is present in. Haversian system, as I told you, it's present in the bone. This is the bone marrow cavity, and in this region you can see the presence of bone cells or the osteocytes, where in between the osteocytes or the bone cells, fascicles, the openings are present for the transportation of blood vessels, lymphatic vessels. These openings are this region where the blood vessels run longitudinally inside the bone tissue, called Haversian system. It's associated with bone. Next question. Which is the most abundant protein in animal world? As I told you while giving the synopsis, collagen is the most abundant protein in the animal world. Collagen is the protein which forms the bundle of fibers, collagen fibers, which gives flexibility and strength to the tissues like areola tissue, bone tissue, etc. Rubasco is the protein which is the most abundant protein in plants. Hemoglobin is the pigment which gives, myoglobin is the red color pigment present in muscles. Hemoglobin is the pigment present in blood, which gives typical red color, contain iron and globin proteins, helps in transportation of materials. Move on to the next question. The cells present in the matrix of cartilage are called. The cells present in the matrix of cartilage are called the chondrocytes or cartilaginous cells, and option B, C and D, osteoblast, osteocytes and osteoclasts are the different types of structures associated with bone. Move on to the next question. Which one of the following is not a connective tissue? Among these, cartilage, bone and blood and bone are three different types of connective tissues, but muscle is a separate tissue. It provides skeletal support or strength and shape to the body. Among these, the odd one, which is not a connective tissue, is muscle. Answer for this question is option D. Identify agranulocytes from the following. Granulocytes and agranulocytes are the different types of blood cells. Adrallu RBC, WBC and platelets. There are three types. In WBC, there are two different types of cells are present. Granulocytes, which contain cytoplasmic granules after staining with specific acidic, basic or neutral stain, and the second one is agranulocytes. Both granulocytes and agranulocytes helps in defense mechanism. Agranulocytes consists of monocytes and lymphocytes. Granulocytes are of three types: eosinophil, basophil and neutrophil. In case of agranulocytes, the cytoplasmic granules are absent. In this question, the agranulocyte is monocyte. So answer for this question is option D. Cardiac muscle cells differ from the striated muscles in having. Cardiac muscles are branched. They contain specialized wall thickenings called the intercalated discs. Such intercalated discs absent in smooth or striated muscle. Cardiac muscle differ from striated muscle in having intercalated discs. Myofibrils, mitochondria, nucleus all present in all types of muscles, but intercalated discs present only in case of cardiac muscle. Move on to the next question. The main function of neuroglial cells in the nervous system. While giving the synopsis, I mentioned this point. The nerve cells consist of two different types, three to four different types are there: ependymal cells, neuroglial cells, conducting neuron, etc. Among these, the only conducting nerve is a multipolar or neuron. This helps in the conduction of nerve impulses from one organ to one part to another part of the body. The cells which are present around the conducting neuron are called the neuroglial cells. They are the defensive cells. They provide protection to the conducting neuron. These are the neuroglial cells. The main function of neuroglial cells, which gives protection or immunity, they helps in the destruction of pathogens which enter into the nervous tissue. Answer for this question: protein synthesis, no. Conduction of nerve impulses done by neuron. Protection to neurons done by the neuroglial cells. Answer for this is option C. Reservoir of neurotransmitters. Neurotransmitters are the chemicals which are present in the postsynaptic end, helps in the transfer of nerve impulse from one nerve ending to another. So the answer for this question is option C. Which among the following does not contain collagen fibers? Collagen fiber associated with cartilaginous tissue, adipose tissue, bone tissue, but absent in blood. All are connective tissues, but in the fluid connective tissue, blood, collagen protein is absent. So the answer is option A. Next question. The muscle fibers are composed of fine fibrils called. The muscle fibers consist of thin bundle-like or thin thread-like structures which are called myofibrils. Collagen fibers, elastin fibers and reticular fibers are not associated with muscle fibers. The muscle fibers in which the fine fibrils are thread-like structures are called myofibrils. Answer for this question is option C. Next question, identify the wrongly matched pair from the following. Look at the options. Goblet cells helps in secretion of mucus. Mucus secreting cells present in the inner lining of respiratory tract, digestive tract for the easy flow of food materials and to maintain the inhaling air temperature, called the goblet cells, are present in the inner surface of these organs which secrete mucus. Option A is correct. Adipose tissue stores fat. One of the special character of adipose tissue, they contain fat filled cells called adipocytes. This is also correct. We need to identify the wrong statement among these. Fibroblast secrete fibers like collagenous fibers, elastin fibers in areola tissue are produced by fibroblast. This is also correct. Endocrine glands produce digestive enzymes. This is wrong. Why? Because endocrine glands are the ductless glands which produce hormones. Digestive enzymes are produced by exocrine glands. Hagagi, among these, the wrong statement is, wrong match is option D. The function of typhlosorol in earthworm. Typhlosorol is the portion or the inner surface present in the gut or the small intestine of earthworm. It contains infoldings. As I told you in the synopsis, they are finger-like projections or infoldings which provides maximum surface area for absorption of food material. Such inner foldings of the small intestine present in the earthworm are called typhlosorol, which provides increased surface area for absorption in the intestine. Look at option A. Storage food material is at the crop. Typhlosorol is not involved in storage of food. Storage of food takes place at the stomach. Production of sperms by testes. Storage of sperms at spermatheca. Typhlosorol helps in the absorption of food material. The infoldings of the small intestine called the typhlosorol. Answer for this is option D. Identify the wrong statement with respect to earthworm. Look at the first point. They have three types of nephridia: pharyngeal nephridia, integumentary nephridia, and there are three types. This point is correct. Pharyngeal, integumentary, and the other one is okay, there are three types. Let us see. Second one is they have closed type of blood vascular system. Yes, in earthworm you can see the closed circulatory system. Transportation takes place through the blood vessels. Option C, they are hermaphrodites with self-fertilization. Yes, definitely they are hermaphrodites or bisexual animals with self-fertilization is the wrong statement, because in earthworm, yes, they are hermaphrodites. They have both male and female reproductive tracts, male and female reproductive systems, produce both sperms and eggs, but fertilization takes place with other animal. Transportation or exchange of gametes takes place between two earthworms in opposite direction. This type of fertilization is called not the self-fertilization, it is called cross-fertilization. Look at the fourth point. They have 4 pairs of spermatheca in 6th to 9th segment of the body. Spermatheca helps in storage of sperms and present at 6th to 9th segment. This point is also correct. The wrong statement among these is option C, because yes, they are hermaphrodites, but fertilization is not self, it's cross fertilization. The process of increasing fertility of soil by earthworm is called. The process of increasing soil fertility by increasing the nitrogen level in the soil, a process called vermicomposting. Move on to the next question. Which one of the following structure in Perithema postuma or common Indian earthworm is incorrectly matched with its function? Clitellum is the band-like structure which helps in the secretion of cocoon mucus, where the fertilization process takes place and the development of eggs takes place inside the body, in the soil secreted by the clitellum. The first point is correct. Gizzard is the part associated with the digestive system, helps in grinding of soil particles. This is also correct. Setae provides defense against predators is the wrong statement. Setae are the thin S-shaped chitinous structures present at the ventral surface of the cockroach, helps in locomotion, not for defense. Prostomium is the first tongue-like structure present at the anterior tip of the earthworm. It acts as sensory structure. The last point is also correct. So the wrong statement for this question is option C. Identify the wrong statement of Perithema postuma or common Indian earthworm. The genital papillae are present on 17th and 19th segment. Genital papillae helps in the adhering of animal at the time of copulation. One animal to bind with another, to hold the other animal at the time of gametes transfer. Genital papillae helps. Each genital papillae present at 17th to 19th segment. The first statement is correct. Look at the second one. Male genital pores present at 18th segment. This is also correct. Clitellum is present on the segments of 24, 25 and 25th segment. This is wrong because clitellum, the band-like structure, is present at 14th, 15th and 16th segment. This is the wrong statement. The wrong statement is option C. Look at the last one. Segments of earthworm are called somites. This is also correct. Which one of the following structure in male cockroach distinguishes it from the female cockroach? Male and female cockroach, as I told you earlier, this is the posterior end of the female cockroach, and this is the posterior end of the male cockroach. Usually the posterior end, the abdomen part of the female cockroach is comparatively broader compared with male, and in the male cockroach there are two thread-like structures present at the posterior end to hold the female at the time of gametes transfer, called anal styles. Anal styles present only in males, absent in females. All other organs like antenna, number of segments and anal cerci present in both male and female. Identify the wrong statement with respect to the mouth parts of cockroach. A single mandible is present. Single mandible, look at this. There are a pair of mandible or two mandibles present in the mouth part of the cockroach, not the single. We need to identify the wrong statement. So the option A is wrong. Look at the other options also. Single labium, also called lower lip. This is correct. Single labrum is also called the upper lip. This is also correct. A single hypopharynx present in between the upper and lower lip, labium and labrum, called hypopharynx, which is homologous with the tongue, helps in the engulfing of food material or pushing of food materials into the mouth. The wrong statement with this is the first option. There is a pair of mandible present in the mouth part of the cockroach, not single. Move on to the next question. Hind wings in cockroach helps in flight. They are attached to the body at hind wings and fore wings. There are two pairs of wings present in cockroach. The fore wings helps to cover just the hind wings, but the hind wings are the actual wings which helps in active flight. These wings which helps in active flight are attached to the metathoracic region. At mesothoracic region, 4 wings are present. In prothoracic region, wings are absent and not in the abdomen region. The wings or the second pair of wings which helps in active flight are hind wings attached at metathoracic region is the answer. Prothoracic, mesothoracic, metathoracic, these 3 regions are the regions of the thoracic region which contain 3 pairs of legs at the ventral side, but the wings present at the dorsal side, and the wings, the first pair of wings at mesothoracic and the second pair of wing, that is hind wings, present at the metathoracic region. Answer for this is option C, metathoracic region. Select the incorrect pair showing digestive organs and their functions in Periplaneta americana or cockroach. We need to identify incorrect pair associated with the digestive organs. Look at the first one. Hepatic ceca helps in grinding of food is the wrong match. Why? Because grinding of food is done by gizzard, not the hepatic ceca. Hepatic ceca helps in the release of digestive enzymes into the digestive tract, and hepatic ceca in cockroach is homologous with liver. Look at the second one. Malphigian tubule for excretion, this is correct. Crop for the storage of food, this is also correct. Rectum helps in the storage of undigested waste, this is also correct. We need to identify the incorrect match. The incorrect match is option A. Next question. The muscle associated with circulatory system of cockroach are called. Circulatory system in case of cockroach is closed type, which contain heart. To pump the blood, it has alary muscles. Not only in cockroach, in most of the insects or arthropods, alary muscles associated with the movement of blood are associated with the circulatory system. Assertion and reasoning question. Cockroach is an example for uricotilic organism. Uricotilic organisms are the organisms which excrete urea. Based on the elimination of nitrogenous waste, we can classify the animals into 3 types. Based on the waste material which comes out of the body, nitrogenous waste. Some organisms eliminate nitrogenous waste in the form of ammonia, which synthesize acids. The elimination of the organisms which eliminate ammonia as nitrogenous waste called aminotilic. The organisms which convert a highly toxic ammonia into uric acid called uricotilic organisms, and the organisms which eliminate the ammonia in the form of uric acid called uricotilic, and the elimination of ammonia takes place in the form of urea called ureotilic organisms. Human beings are ureotilic. Most of the birds and arthropods are uric acid. They eliminate uric acid called uricotilic organisms. Fishes and amphibians, when they are in the aquatic habitat, they are adapted for aminotilic conditions. Look at this assertion point. Cockroach is an example for uricotilic organism. Reason, they excrete. Why they are called uricotilic? Because they excrete nitrogenous waste in the form of uric acid. For the assertion, the given reason is correct. Look at the options. First option, both assertion and reason are true, and R is the correct explanation of A. This will become the answer for this question. Look at the second option also. Both A and R, assertion and reason, are true, and R is not the correct explanation of A. Here for the assertion, the given reason is correct. So hagagi option B is wrong. Option C, A is true, R is false. Both assertion and reasons are false. For this question, for the given assertion, reason is correct. Hagagi answer is option A. Move on to the next question. How many times does nymph of Periplaneta americana cockroach undergoes molting before becoming an adult? Molting is the shedding of exoskeleton, and the development in case of cockroach is indirect. It consists of several stages, morphologically distinct stages called nymphal stages. To develop into from nymph to adult, in Periplaneta americana, it undergo molting. Shedding of exoskeleton takes place about 13 times. 13 times molting takes place for the development of an adult completely developed cockroach from the nymphal stage or from the egg to adult. There are 13 molting or shedding of exoskeleton takes place 13 times. Identify the wrong statement with respect to reproductive system of cockroach. This question is about the reproductive system of cockroach. Look at the first point. Development is purometabolous. Purometabolous in the sense consists of different nymphal stages. If the different nymphal stages, morphologically distinct stages present in the development of cockroach from egg to adult, called purometabolous. Development is purometabolous. This point is correct. We need to identify the wrong statement, remember. Second option, females produce an average of 9 to 10 ootheca. This is also correct. Each ootheca contain 14 to 16 eggs. Ootheca is the case-like structure, small or capsule-like structure which consists of eggs. ನೀವು ನೋಡಿರ್ಬೋದು ಅನ್ಕೊಳ್ತೀನಿ, ಈ ಕಾಕ್ರೋಚ್ ಹಿಂಭಾಗದಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ಥರದ ಊತಿಕ ಈಗ ಅಟ್ಯಾಚ್ ಆಗಿ ಕ್ಯಾರಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. Female cockroach usually carry e ootheca which consists of eggs. 14 to 16 eggs are present. Option A, B and C are correct. Look at option D. They are monoecious and fertilization is internal. Cockroach is not monoecious, it is dioecious, nothing but unisexual. Monoecious ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ bisexual. Cockroach is not bisexual, it is unisexual. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ the wrong statement is option D. Frogs are seen during peak. Frogs are not seen during peak summer and winter season because they undergo. During peak summer and peak winter season, ಈ ಸೀಸನ್ಸ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಫ್ರಾಕ್ಸ್ ಅಷ್ಟೊಂದು ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಕಾಣಿಸೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ರೀಸನ್ ಏನಪ್ಪ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ವಿಂಟರ್ ಸೀಸನಲ್ಲಿ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಈಸ್ಟಿವೇಷನ್ ಇನ್ ವಿಂಟರ್ ಸೀಸನ್ ರಾಂಗ್. ಈಸ್ಟಿವೇಷನ್ ಟೇಕ್ಸ್ ಪ್ಲೇಸ್ ಅಟ್ ಸಮ್ಮರ್ ಸೀಸನ್. ಈಸ್ಟಿವೇಷನ್ ಆರ್ ಸಮ್ಮರ್ ಸ್ಲೀಪ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀರಿ, ಟು ಎಸ್ಕೇಪ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಅನ್ಫೇವರಬಲ್ ಕಂಡೀಷನ್ಸ್. ಹಾಗೆ ಡ್ಯೂರಿಂಗ್ ಇನ್ ವಿಂಟರ್ ಸೀಸನ್ ದೇ ಅಂಡರ್ಗೋ ಹೈಬರ್ನೇಷನ್. Hibernation in winter season, it's also called the winter sleep, and estivation is called the summer sleep. Due to these two adaptations, we cannot see frogs in more number at peak summer and winter season. Look at option A. Estivation in winter is wrong. Estivation in summer season, and hibernation in summer. Hibernation not takes place in summer. Hibernation takes place in winter season. Hagagi option A is wrong. For this question, option B is correct. Why? Because estivation in summer, hibernation in winter makes the organisms to tolerate from unfavorable condition. That's why the number of frogs in these two seasons are comparatively less. Both estivation and hibernation in winter season, option C is wrong. Both estivation and hibernation in summer season is also wrong. Move on to the next question. Read and identify the incorrect statement. Look at this. We need to identify the incorrect statement among these. Indian frog, Rana tigrina, is poikilothermic animals. Poikilothermic animals are the cold-blooded animals which cannot change their body temperature according to their environment. This is correct. Female frog contains sound producing vocal sac and copulatory pads on the first digit of the forelimb. This statement is wrong. Why? Because sound producing vocal sac and copulatory pads in the first digit of the forelimb is the character of male frog, not the female frog. Tympanium represents ear is correct. The frog never drink water but absorb water through the skin. This is also correct. The wrong statement for this question is option B. Next question. Which one of the following is not respiratory organ of frog? Skin, buccal cavity, lungs as well as gills are the respiratory organs of frog. In adult frog, respiration takes place through skin, mouth or buccal cavity and also through the lungs. The major respiratory organ in adult frogs is lungs. When the frog at the larval stage or tadpole stage, the respiratory organs in the tadpoles are gills. Gills are the respiratory organs in larval stage. In adults, mainly the lungs are the respiratory organs but not the trachea. Trachea are the respiratory organs of most of the arthropods, not the frog. Hagagi wrong answer is option D, which is not the respiratory organ. So the correct answer for this question is option D. The number of cranial nerves in frog. Cranial nerves are the nerves which arise from brain and present at, which controls different parts of the head like eyes, mouth, sensory organs, etc. There are total 10 cranial nerves present in frog. In human beings or in mammals, 12 pairs are present, but in frog there are only 10 pairs of cranial nerves which comes out of the or which are present at the cranium region. A mature female frog lay approximately dash number of eggs at a time. For this, answer is 2500 to 3000. Name the common passage that is used to pass fecal matter, urine and sperms in frog. The common opening for the release of undigested waste of fecal matter, nitrogenous waste urine as well as the gametes is cloaca. Cloaca is the common passage for the release of all these. Move on to the next question. The next topic, chapter number 12, mineral nutrition. Mineral nutritions, in which the minerals are the inorganic solutes present in soil which helps in the normal growth and development of the plant, absorbed by the plants from the root system. Let us take a brief synopsis before entering into the questions part. As I told you, mineral nutritions are the inorganic solutes essential for the growth and development of the plants. They are of two types, macronutrients and micronutrients. Macronutrients are the nutrients which are in excess or which are present in excess. Excess in the sense excess of excess of 10 millimole per kg of dry matter. Micronutrients are present in the tissue in small amount, that is less than 10 millimole per kg of dry matter. Examples for macronutrients: nitrogen, phosphorus, potash, calcium, magnesium and sulfur. Micronutrients: iron, manganese, zinc, copper, boron, molybdenum and chlorine. There is an advanced technique in which we can grow plants without soil by using nutrient solution which contain all macro, micronutrients and growth factors. This process is called hydroponics. Four broad categories of essential elements based on their function, components of biomolecules and which forms the structural elements of the cells, example carbon, hydrogen, oxygen and nitrogen. They are the major biomolecules and structural components of the cells, plant cells. Energy related chemicals like phosphorus helps in the production of ATP and magnesium helps in the synthesis of chlorophyll pigment. Essential elements that active or inhibit enzyme action, which controls the enzyme activity, are magnesium and zinc. Maintenance of osmotic potential, that is ionic balance or salt water balance in the cell, by potassium. Role of macro and micronutrients. Nitrogen is one of the macronutrient. It is the component of proteins, nucleic acids, vitamins, chlorophyll pigment and hormones. Phosphorus is also one of the macronutrient. It is present in the component of the cell membrane, certain proteins and all nucleic acids. Phosphorylation reaction, that is synthesis of ATP during photosynthesis, is also controlled by phosphorus or for the synthesis of ATP. Potassium maintains the ionic balance, cation and anion balance in the cell, helps in protein synthesis, opening and closing of stomata, activation of enzymes and maintenance of turgidity of the cells by potassium. Next macronutrient present in the middle lamella of the cell wall, that is calcium pectate. Calcium is the chief material in the middle lamella of the calcium in the form of calcium pectate and also helps in the formation of spindle fibers during cell division, that is mitotic spindle fiber formation. Magnesium is one of the macronutrient, helps in the synthesis of DNA and RNA, ring structure of chlorophyll and maintains ribosome structure. Sulfur present in amino acids like cysteine and methionine. In several coenzymes, vitamins and ferredoxin, sulfur is present. Iron helps in the synthesis of, this is the micronutrient, synthesis of proteins like cytochromes used in ETC and for the synthesis of chlorophyll. Manganese is one of the micronutrient, helps in photolysis of water during non-cyclic photophosphorylation of the photosynthesis and release of oxygen during light reaction. Zinc helps in synthesis of phytohormone called auxin. Copper helps in overall metabolism associated with coenzyme, enzyme of redox reaction. Boron helps in pollen germination, cell elongation, cell differentiation and carbohydrate transportation. Molybdenum required for nitrogen metabolism. Chlorine essential for photolysis of water during non-cyclic phosphorylation. Deficiency symptoms of essential elements. Critical concentration is the concentration of essential elements below which plant growth is retarded. A particular concentration of nutrients below which, ಅದಕ್ಕಿಂತಲೂ ಕಮ್ಮಿ ಆದರೆ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಡೆವಲಪ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಇಲ್ಲ ಗ್ರೋತ್ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಬ್ನಾರ್ಮಲಿಟೀಸ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗ್ತವೆ. ಇದನ್ನೇ ಕ್ರಿಟಿಕಲ್ ಕಾನ್ಸಂಟ್ರೇಷನ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಕರೀತೀರಿ. ಕ್ರಿಟಿಕಲ್ ಕಾನ್ಸಂಟ್ರೇಷನ್ ಈಸ್ ದಿ ಕಾನ್ಸಂಟ್ರೇಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ಎಸೆನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಎಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್, ಅದಕ್ಕಿಂತಲೂ ಕಮ್ಮಿ ಆದರೆ ಬಿಲೋ ವಿಚ್ ದಿ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ ಗ್ರೋತ್ ಈಸ್ disturbed or retarded. Deficiency symptoms. If the nutrients deficiency takes place in plants, it causes some of the symptoms or abnormalities like chlorosis, that is death of chlorophyll pigment. Necrosis is death of tissue. Stunted growth, growth becomes reduced growth. Inhibition of cell division, stoppage of cell division and premature fall of leaves and buds. ಇನ್ನು ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಡೆವಲಪ್ ಆಗದಿರುವಂಥ ಎಲೆಗಳು ಮತ್ತು ಬರ್ಡ್ಸ್ಗಳು ಬಿದ್ದೋಗೋದು, ಇವೆಲ್ಲ ಡಿಫಿಷಿಯನ್ಸಿ ಇಂದ, ನ್ಯೂಟ್ರಿಯೆಂಟ್ ಡಿಫಿಷಿಯನ್ಸಿಯಿಂದ ಕಾಣಿಸುವಂಥ ಸಿಂಪ್ಟಮ್ಸ್ಗಳು. ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಒನ್ ಕ್ಲೋರೋಸಿಸ್ ಆರ್ ಡೆಸ್ಟ್ರಾಯ್ ಆಫ್ ಕ್ಲೋರೋಫಿಲ್ ಪಿಗ್ಮೆಂಟ್. ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಕಾಸ್ಡ್ ಬೈ ದಿ ಡಿಫಿಷಿಯನ್ಸಿ ಆಫ್ ನೈಟ್ರೋಜನ್, ಪೊಟ್ಯಾಷಿಯಂ, ಮೆಗ್ನೀಷಿಯಂ, ಸಲ್ಫರ್, ಐರನ್, ಮ್ಯಾಂಗನೀಸ್, ಜಿಂಕ್ ಮತ್ತು ಮಾಲಿಬ್ಡಿನಮ್. ಇವುಗಳದ್ದು ಡಿಫಿಷಿಯನ್ಸಿ ಆದರೆ ಪ್ಲ್ಯಾಂಟಲ್ಲಿ ಕ್ಲೋರೋಫಿಲ್ ಪಿಗ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಡೆಸ್ಟ್ರಾಯ್ ಆಗುತ್ತಾ, ಎಲೆಗಳೆಲ್ಲ ಯೆಲ್ಲೋ ಕಲರ್ ಆಗೋದು, ಗ್ರೀನ್ ಕಲರ್ ಕಮ್ಮಿ ಆಗೋದು, ಈ ಥರದ ಕ್ಯಾರೆಕ್ಟರ್ಸನ್ನು ಕ್ಲೋರೋಸಿಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಕರಿತೀರಿ. ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಒನ್ ನೆಕ್ರೋಸಿಸ್, ಡೆತ್ ಆಫ್ ಸೆಲ್ಸ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಟಿಶ್ಯೂಸ್. ಇದು ಡಿಫಿಷಿಯನ್ಸಿಯಿಂದ, ಈ ಡಿಫಿಷಿಯನ್ಸಿಯಿಂದ ಆಗುತ್ತಾ, ಯಾವುದು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಶಿಯಂ, ಮೆಗ್ನೀಷಿಯಂ, ಕಾಪರ್ ಮತ್ತು ಪೊಟ್ಯಾಷಿಯಂ. Inhibition of cell division by the deficiency of nitrogen, potassium, sulfur ಮತ್ತು ಮಾಲಿಬ್ಡಿನಮ್. ಇವುಗಳಿಂದ ಇನ್ಹಿಬಿಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ಸೆಲ್ ಡಿವಿಷನ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಸೆಲ್ ಡಿವಿಷನ್ ಸ್ಟಾಪ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಡಿಲೇ ಆಫ್ ಫ್ಲವರಿಂಗ್, ಫ್ಲವರ್ ಪ್ರೊಡಕ್ಷನ್ ಸ್ಲೋ ಆಗೋದು ಇಲ್ಲ ನಿಧಾನ ಆಗೋದು ಡ್ಯೂ ಟು ದಿ ಡಿಫಿಷಿಯನ್ಸಿ ಆಫ್ ನೈಟ್ರೋಜನ್, ಸಲ್ಫರ್ ಮತ್ತು ಮಾಲಿಬ್ಡಿನಮ್. ಇವುಗಳದ್ದು ಡಿಫಿಷಿಯನ್ಸಿಯಿಂದ ಫ್ಲವರ್ ಪ್ರೊಡಕ್ಷನ್ ಡಿಲೇ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಟಾಕ್ಸಿಸಿಟಿ ಆಫ್ ಮಿನರಲ್ ನ್ಯೂಟ್ರಿಯೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ಮಿನರಲ್ ನ್ಯೂಟ್ರಿಯೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ಸ್ಗೆ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಕೂಡ ಆಗಬಾರ್ದು, ಕಡಿಮೆ ಕೂಡ ಆಗಬಾರ್ದು. ಒಂದು ಮಾಡ್ರೇಟ್ ಲೆವೆಲಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾತ್ರನೇ ಸಿಗಬೇಕು. ಮಾಡ್ರೇಟ್ ಡಿಕ್ರೀಸ್, ಆ ಲೆವೆಲ್ಗಿಂತಲೂ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆದರೆ, ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ಸ್ಗೆ ನ್ಯೂಟ್ರಿಯೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಎಷ್ಟು ಬೇಕು ಅದಕ್ಕಿಂತಲೂ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಸಿಕ್ಕರೆ ಇದರಿಂದ ಡಿಫಿಷಿಯನ್ಸಿ ಸಿಂಪ್ಟಮ್ಸ್ಗಳು ಅಂದರೆ ಕೊರತೆ ಉಂಟಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅದೇ ನ್ಯೂಟ್ರಿಯೆಂಟ್ಸ್ಗಳು ಹೆಚ್ಚಾದರೆ ಅದರಿಂದ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ಗೆ ತೊಂದರೆ ಕೂಡ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಇದನ್ನು ಟಾಕ್ಸಿಸಿಟಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಕರೀತೀರಿ. ಮಾಡ್ರೇಟ್ ಡಿಕ್ರೀಸ್ ಕಾಸಸ್ ಡಿಫಿಷಿಯನ್ಸಿ, ಮಾಡ್ರೇಟ್ ಇನ್ಕ್ರೀಸ್ ಕಾಸ್ ಟಾಕ್ಸಿಸಿಟಿ. ಎನಿ ಮಿನರಲ್ ಅಯಾನ್ ಕಾನ್ಸಂಟ್ರೇಷನ್ ಇನ್ ಟಿಶ್ಯೂ ದಟ್ ರೆಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ದಿ ಡ್ರೈ ವೇಟ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಟಿಶ್ಯೂ ಬೈ 10% ಈಸ್ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ಡ್ ಆಸ್ ಟಾಕ್ಸಿಕ್. ಯಾವಾಗ ಟಾಕ್ಸಿಕ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ 10% ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆದರೆ, ಅದರದ್ದು ಡ್ರೈ ವೆಯ್ಟಲ್ಲಿರೋಷ್ಟು ನ್ಯೂಟ್ರಿಯೆಂಟ್ಸ್ಗಿಂತಲೂ 10% ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆದರೆ ಅದರಿಂದ ತೊಂದರೆಗಳು ಉಂಟಾಗ್ತವೆ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ಗೆ. ಅದನ್ನೇ ನಾವು ಮಿನರಲ್ ಟಾಕ್ಸಿಸಿಟಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಕರಿತೀರಿ. ನೈಟ್ರೋಜನ್, ಒನ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಮೇಜರ್ ನ್ಯೂಟ್ರಿಯೆಂಟ್ ರೆಸ್ಪಾನ್ಸಿಬಲ್ ಫಾರ್ ದಿ ಗ್ರೋತ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಡೆವಲಪ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ಸ್. ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಸರ್ಕ್ಯುಲೇಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ನೈಟ್ರೋಜನ್ ಬಿಟ್ವೀನ್ ಲಿವಿಂಗ್ ಆರ್ಗ್ಯಾನಿಸಮ್ಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ನಾನ್ ಲಿವಿಂಗ್ ಕಾಂಪೊನೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಇಕೋಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್, ಇದನ್ನೇ ನೈಟ್ರೋಜನ್ ಸೈಕಲ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀರಿ. ಈ ನೈಟ್ರೋಜನ್ ಸೈಕಲ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು 4 ಹೆಡ್ಡಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಬರ್ತವೆ. ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಒನ್ ನೈಟ್ರೋಜನ್ ಫಿಕ್ಸೇಷನ್. ಅಟ್ಮಾಸ್ಫಿಯರಲ್ಲಿ ನೈಟ್ರೋಜನ್ ಈಸ್ ಇನ್ ದಿ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಆಫ್ nitrogen gas in which 2 nitrogen atoms are joined together with the help of 3 covalent bonds. These strong covalent bonds are broken to produce ammonia. One nitrogen molecule produces a molecule of ammonia, process called nitrogen fixation. This process takes place in 2 manners: biological nitrogen fixation and electrical nitrogen fixation. Biological nitrogen fixation done by some of the living organism, microscopic bacteria and cyanobacteria present in soil called nostoc, anabina, azotobacter, rhodospirillum, bacillus, etc. Second step is ammonification, decomposition of organic nitrogen of dead plants and animals into ammonia is called ammonification. Release of ammonia from the dead organic matter by Nitromonas bacteria. Nitrification, in which ammonia undergo oxidation to produce nitrite, that is 2NO2 minus, and nitrites combine with or undergo further oxidation to produce nitrates, NO3 minus. Nitrates can be absorbed by the plants but not nitrites. Assimilation, nitrates absorbed by the plants to form ammonia, finally forms amine group of amino acids. Denitrification is the last step in which the nitrates present in the soil also reduced to molecular nitrogen by bacteria like Pseudomonas and Theobacillus. These bacteria helps in the release of nitrogen from the dead organic matter into the atmosphere. This chart shows the complete nitrogen cycle with all the major headings. Atmospheric nitrogen, convert into ammonia by biological nitrogen fixation or industrial nitrogen fixation. The second one, electrical nitrogen fixation at the time of thunder and lightning by absorbing energy, the atmospheric nitrogen convert into nitrates, process called electrical nitrogen fixation. Biological nitrogen, during biological nitrogen fixation, the nitrogen convert into ammonia, further this ammonia convert into nitrites, process called nitrification, and the organisms which involve in this process are nitromonas. Nitrites undergo further oxidation to produce nitrates which can be absorbed by the plants with the help of nitrobacter. Now the nitrogen present in the biomass enter into the animals in the food chain. The death of animals forms decaying biomass, and the same manner plant biomass also undergo or after death convert into decaying biomass which contain nitrogen. This nitrogen release into the atmosphere in the form of ammonia, process called ammonification. This cyclic movement of nitrogen, conversion of atmospheric nitrogen into ammonia, ammonia into nitrates which can be absorbed by the plants, and from the plants nitrogen release into the atmosphere into the in the form of ammonia, process called ammonification. This cyclic movement is called nitrogen cycle. This is the overall reaction of biological nitrogen fixation, in which one molecule of nitrogen convert into 2 molecules of ammonia by using 16 molecules of ATP. Biological nitrogen fixation, in which reduction of nitrogen to ammonia takes place by living organisms, called biological nitrogen fixation. Some of the living organisms which involve in nitrogen fixation are free living nitrogen fixing aerobic microorganisms like Azotobacter and Vajrankia, free living nitrogen fixing anaerobic microbes which live without oxygen called Rhodospirillum, cyanobacteria like Anabina, Nostoc are free living nitrogen fixators. Symbiotic nitrogen fixation by Rhizobium bacteria present in the root nodules of leguminous plants. Frankia also produce nitrogen fixing nodules in the leguminous plants. Both Rhizobium and Frankia are free living in soil, but as symbionts they fix atmospheric nitrogen. They helps in the formation of root nodules. This is the diagram, shows the enzyme action, nitrogenase enzyme action for the conversion of nitrogen to 2 molecules of ammonia. As I told you, nitrogen is tightly bonded. 2 nitrogen atoms are tightly connected with the help of 3 covalent bonds. This nitrogen attached with nitrogenase enzyme, in which 3 reductional cell division or reduction division takes place at 3 times, reduction in which addition of 2 hydrogen atoms takes place and removal of 1 covalent bond takes place between the nitrogen. In the first step, 2 hydrogen molecules attach with the nitrogen by the elimination of 1 covalent bond. In the second step, second covalent bond get eliminated and attachment of 2 hydrogen atoms takes place with each nitrogen, and finally each nitrogen attach with 2 hydrogen to form ammonia, and the bond between the nitrogen, the covalent bond between nitrogen gets separate and produce 2 free ammonia molecules, and the release of nitrogenase enzyme takes place which reutilize for the synthesis of ammonia. This released nitrogenase enzyme fuse with again 1 more molecule of nitrogen and the process continues. This is the diagram, shows the formation of root nodules, in which the bacteria, Rhizobium bacteria or Frankia bacteria, which accumulates near the root hairs, makes the root tip or root hair tip in the form of hook. Through the hook, the bacteria enter into the cortex and pericycle, where they undergo division and forms a mature nodule. Ammonia convert into ammonium ions. Most of the plants assimilate nitrate and ammonia ions. During reductive amination, ammonia combine with alpha ketoglutaric acid to form glutamic acid. Transamination, it involves the transfer of amino group from one amino acid to the keto group of keto acid. Finally, glutamic acid involved in the formation of other amino acid. This is the final fate of ammonia. Ammonia, nitrogen convert into ammonia. Ammonia enter into the plant body in the form of nitrates and involve in the formation of amino acids. Now let us take some of the questions related to this topic. The first question is, the technique of growing plants in defined nutrient solution in complete absence of soil is called soilless culture or hydroponics. Aeroponics is the type of culture where we use only the moisture for growing plants. Water culture is aquatic culture. Soil culture is the actual agriculture, but hydroponics is the technique where we'll grow plants without soil, only in nutrient solution which contain micronutrients as well as the growth promoting hormones. Look at the next question. Identify the wrong statement with respect to criteria for essentiality of an element in plants. The elements, what is the major criteria for the essentiality of the elements is the question. The elements must be necessary for normal growth and reproduction. This point is correct. For normal growth and reproduction, elements are necessary. The absence of elements in plants do not complete their life cycle. In absence of plants, definitely plants cannot complete their life cycle. This point is also correct. The requirement of the element must be specific and not replaced by any other element. This is also correct, because the elements which we cannot replace it, in the elements of the requirement of the element must be specific and cannot be replaced by any other element. The element which is essential for the development, which we cannot replace with any other element. If nitrogen is essential for the development or for the formation of a particular protein, we need to supply only that. By changing the nutrient, we cannot make the plant for normal growth. Plants normal ಆಗಿ ಬೆಳೆಯಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯನೇ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಬೇರೆ ನ್ಯೂಟ್ರಿಯೆಂಟ್ನ ಆಲ್ಟರ್ನೇಟಿವ್ ಆಗಿ ಬೇರೆ ನ್ಯೂಟ್ರಿಯೆಂಟ್ನ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಮಾಡಿದರೆ, ಏನು ನ್ಯೂಟ್ರಿಯೆಂಟ್ ಬೇಕೋ ಅದೇ ನ್ಯೂಟ್ರಿಯೆಂಟ್ನ ಪ್ರೊವೈಡ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಇಸ್ ದಿ ಮೀನಿಂಗ್ ಆಫ್ ಆಪ್ಷನ್ ಸಿ. ದಿ ಡಿಫಿಷಿಯನ್ಸಿ ಆಫ್ ಒನ್ ಎಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಮೆಟ್ ಬೈ ದಿ ಸಪ್ಲೈಯಿಂಗ್ ಆಫ್ ಸಮ್ ಅದರ್ ಎಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್. ಇದು ರಾಂಗ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಯಾಕೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ಡಿಫಿಷಿಯನ್ಸಿ ಆಫ್ ಒನ್ ಎಲಿಮೆಂಟ್, ಯಾವುದೋ ಒಂದು ಎಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಡಿಫಿಷಿಯನ್ಸಿ ಆಗಿದೆ ಅಂತಂದರೆ ಆ ಜಾಗಕ್ಕೆ ಬೇರೆ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಎಲಿಮೆಂಟನ್ನು ಪ್ರೊವೈಡ್ ಮಾಡಿದರೆ, ಬೇರೆ ನ್ಯೂಟ್ರಿಯೆಂಟನ್ನು ಸಪ್ಲೈ ಮಾಡಿದರೆ ಆ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಸಾಲ್ವ್ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕೇಳಿರೋ ಕ್ವಶನಲ್ಲಿ ರಾಂಗ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಇದಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಆಪ್ಷನ್ ಡಿ ಇಸ್ ದಿ ಆನ್ಸರ್. ಎಸೆನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಎಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ರಿಕ್ವೈರ್ಡ್ ಫಾರ್ ನಾರ್ಮಲ್ ಗ್ರೋತ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಡೆವಲಪ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ಸ್. ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ಸ್ ನಾರ್ಮಲ್ ಗ್ರೋತ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಡೆವಲಪ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಬೇಕಿತ್ತು ಅಂತಂದರೆ ಈ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರೋ 4 ಆಪ್ಷನ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವ ನ್ಯೂಟ್ರಿಯೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ತುಂಬ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಕ್ವಶನ್. ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಓನ್ಲಿ ಮೈಕ್ರೋನ್ಯೂಟ್ರಿಯೆಂಟ್ಸ್, ಓನ್ಲಿ ಮ್ಯಾಕ್ರೋನ್ಯೂಟ್ರಿಯೆಂಟ್ಸ್, ಬೋತ್ ಮೈಕ್ರೋ ಅಂಡ್ ಮ್ಯಾಕ್ರೋ, ಕಾರ್ಬನ್, ಹೈಡ್ರೋಜನ್, ಆಕ್ಸಿಜನ್ ಮತ್ತು ನೈಟ್ರೋಜನ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ, ಈ 4 ಆಪ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಇದಾವೆ. ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ಸ್ ನಾರ್ಮಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಬೆಳಿಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಮ್ಯಾಕ್ರೋನ್ಯೂಟ್ರಿಯೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಕೂಡ ಬೇಕು, ಹಾಗೇನೇ ಮೈಕ್ರೋನ್ಯೂಟ್ರಿಯೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಕೂಡ ಬೇಕು. ಹಾಗಿದ್ರೆ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಆಪ್ಷನ್ ಸಿ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್, ದಿ ಲೆವೆಲ್ ಆಫ್ ಮ್ಯಾಕ್ರೋನ್ಯೂಟ್ರಿಯೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ಸ್. ಎಷ್ಟಿದ್ರೆ ಮ್ಯಾಕ್ರೋನ್ಯೂಟ್ರಿಯೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಕರೀತಾರೆ ಅಂತ ಕೇಳೋ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಗೆ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಮೋರ್ ದ್ಯಾನ್. ಓಕೆ, ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಇಸ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಇಸ್ ದಿ ಲೆವೆಲ್ ಆಫ್ ಮೈಕ್ರೋನ್ಯೂಟ್ರಿಯೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ ಟಿಶ್ಯೂ. ಆಪ್ಷನ್ ಎ ಮೋರ್ ದ್ಯಾನ್ 10 millimole per kg ಆಫ್ ಡ್ರೈ ಮ್ಯಾಟರ್. ಮೋರ್ ದ್ಯಾನ್ 10 millimole per kg ಇತ್ತು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಇದನ್ನ ಮ್ಯಾಕ್ರೋನ್ಯೂಟ್ರಿಯೆಂಟ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಕರಿತೀರಿ. ಲೆಸ್ ದ್ಯಾನ್ 15 ಅಲ್ಲ, ಮೋರ್ ದ್ಯಾನ್ 15 ಕೂಡ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಲೆಸ್ ದ್ಯಾನ್ 10 millimole per kg of dry matter is the answer for micronutrients. ಮೈಕ್ರೋನ್ಯೂಟ್ರಿಯೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಯಾರು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ನ್ಯೂಟ್ರಿಯೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಎಷ್ಟಿರಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ 10 millimole per kg ಗಿಂತಲೂ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಇದ್ದಂಥ ನ್ಯೂಟ್ರಿಯೆಂಟ್ಸ್ನ ನಾವು ಮೈಕ್ರೋನ್ಯೂಟ್ರಿಯೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಕರೀತೀರಿ. ಫಿಫ್ತ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್, ಸೆಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ದಿ ಆಪ್ಷನ್ ದಟ್ ಕಂಟೈನ್ಸ್ ಮೈಕ್ರೋನ್ಯೂಟ್ರಿಯೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ. ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರೋರಲ್ಲಿ ಬರೇ ಮೈಕ್ರೋನ್ಯೂಟ್ರಿಯೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಯಾರು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಕಂಡುಹಿಡಿಯಬೇಕು. ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಆಪ್ಷನಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ಎಲ್ಲನೂ ಕೂಡ ಮ್ಯಾಕ್ರೋನ್ಯೂಟ್ರಿಯೆಂಟ್ಸ್, ಸಿ ನಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂಡ ಎಲ್ಲನೂ ಮ್ಯಾಕ್ರೋನ್ಯೂಟ್ರಿಯೆಂಟ್ಸ್, ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಪೊಟ್ಯಾಷಿಯಂ ಮತ್ತು ಮ್ಯಾಂಗನೀಸ್ ಈ ಎರಡು ಕೂಡ ಮ್ಯಾಕ್ರೋನ್ಯೂಟ್ರಿಯೆಂಟ್ಸ್. ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ ಮೈಕ್ರೋನ್ಯೂಟ್ರಿಯೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಇರೋದು ಆಪ್ಷನ್ ಎ ನಲ್ಲಿ. ಆಪ್ಷನ್ ಎ ನಲ್ಲಿರೋ ಮ್ಯಾಂಗನೀಸ್, ಮಾಲಿಬ್ಡಿನಮ್ ಮತ್ತು ಜಿಂಕ್ ಇದ್ಮೂರು ಕೂಡ ಮ್ಯಾಕ್ರೋನ್ಯೂಟ್ರಿಯೆಂಟ್ಸ್ಗೆ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಆಗ್ತವೆ. ಮ್ಯಾಕ್ರೋ ಅಂತೀರಿ, ಮೈಕ್ರೋನ್ಯೂಟ್ರಿಯೆಂಟ್ಸ್ಗೆ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್. ವಿಚ್ ಒನ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಫಾಲೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಎಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ರಿಕ್ವೈರ್ಡ್ ಫಾರ್ ಕ್ಲೋರೋಫಿಲ್ ಸಿಂಥಸಿಸ್ ಇನ್ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ಸ್? ಕ್ಲೋರೋಫಿಲ್ ಸಿಂಥಸಿಸ್ಗೆ ಬೇಕಾಗಿರುವಂಥ ನ್ಯೂಟ್ರಿಯೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಯಾರು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಕೇಳೋ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಗೆ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಆಪ್ಷನ್ ಎ, ಐರನ್ ಮತ್ತು ಮೆಗ್ನೀಷಿಯಂ. ಈ ಎರಡು ತುಂಬಾ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ನ್ಯೂಟ್ರಿಯೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಫಾರ್ ದಿ ಸಿಂಥಸಿಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಕ್ಲೋರೋಫಿಲ್. Identify the statement which is the major constituent of proteins, nucleic acids, vitamins ಮತ್ತು ಹಾರ್ಮೋನ್ಸ್. ಪ್ರೋಟೀನ್ಸ್ನಲ್ಲಿ, ನ್ಯೂಕ್ಲಿಕ್ ಆಸಿಡ್ಸ್ನಲ್ಲಿ, ವೈಟಮಿನ್ಸ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಮತ್ತು ಹಾರ್ಮೋನ್ಸ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲರಲ್ಲೂ ಇರುವಂಥ ಹೆಚ್ಚಿರುವಂಥ ನ್ಯೂಟ್ರಿಯೆಂಟ್ ಯಾರು ಅನ್ನೋ ಕೇಳೋ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಗೆ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ನೈಟ್ರೋಜನ್. ನೈಟ್ರೋಜನ್ ಈಸ್ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಇನ್ ಪ್ರೋಟೀನ್ಸ್, ನ್ಯೂಕ್ಲಿಕ್ ಆಸಿಡ್ಸ್, ವೈಟಮಿನ್ಸ್ ಮತ್ತು ಹಾರ್ಮೋನ್ಸ್. ಸೆಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ದಿ ಇನ್ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಪೇರ್. ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರೋರಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಕಡೆಗೆ ನ್ಯೂಟ್ರಿಯೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಕಡೆಗೆ ಅದರದ್ದು ಫಂಕ್ಷನ್ ಅನ್ನು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಯಾವುದು ರಾಂಗ್ ಇದೆ ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನು ಕಂಡುಹಿಡಿಯಬೇಕು. ಮೆಗ್ನೀಷಿಯಂ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ ದಿ ಫಾರ್ಮೇಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ಸ್ಪಿಂಡಲ್ ಫೈಬರ್ಸ್, ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿದೆ ಇದು. ಐರನ್ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ ದಿ ಫಾರ್ಮೇಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ಕ್ಲೋರೋಫಿಲ್, ಇದು ಕೂಡ ಸರಿಯಾಗಿದೆ. ಕ್ಲೋರಿನ್ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ ದಿ ಫೋಟೋಲೈಸಿಸ್ ಆಫ್ ವಾಟರ್, ಬ್ರೇಕಿಂಗ್ ಆಫ್ ವಾಟರ್ ಡ್ಯೂರಿಂಗ್ ಫೋಟೋಪಾಸ್ಫೋರೈಲೇಷನ್ ಟು ರಿಲೀಸ್ ಆಕ್ಸಿಜನ್, ಇದು ಕೂಡ ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಸಲ್ಫರ್ ಇಸ್ ದಿ ಕಾಂಪೊನೆಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ವೈಟಮಿನ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ವೈಟಮಿನ್ಸ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಸಲ್ಫರ್ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಸಲ್ಫರ್ ಇರೋದು ಎನ್ಸೈಮ್ಸ್ನಲ್ಲಿ, ಅಮೈನೋ ಆಸಿಡ್ಸ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾರು ಸಲ್ಫರ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಸಿಸ್ಟಿನ್ ಮತ್ತು ಮಿಥಿಯೋನಿನ್ ಅಮೈನೋ ಆಸಿಡ್ಸ್ ಕನ್ಸಿಸ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಸಲ್ಫರ್, ನಾಟ್ ದಿ ವೈಟಮಿನ್ಸ್. ಸೊ ದಿ ರಾಂಗ್ ಆರ್ ಇನ್ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮ್ಯಾಚ್ ಇಸ್ ಆಪ್ಷನ್ ಡಿ. ಐಡೆಂಟಿಫೈ the two elements essential for splitting up of water to liberate oxygen during photosynthesis, light reaction of photosynthesis. ಈ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಗೆ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಆಪ್ಷನ್ ಸಿ. ಮ್ಯಾಂಗನೀಸ್ ಮತ್ತು ಕ್ಲೋರಿನ್ ಈ ಎರಡೂ ಕೂಡ ರೆಸ್ಪಾನ್ಸಿಬಲ್ ಫಾರ್ ಫೋಟೋಲೈಸಿಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಆರ್ ಬ್ರೇಕ್ ಡೌನ್ ಆಫ್ ವಾಟರ್ ಟು ರಿಲೀಸ್ ಆಕ್ಸಿಜನ್ ಡ್ಯೂರಿಂಗ್ non-cyclic photophosphorylation. Next question, the concentration of the essential elements below which plant growth is retarded is the definition of critical concentration. The meaning of critical concentration is the level of essential elements below which, ಅದಕ್ಕಿಂತಲೂ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆದರೆ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಗ್ರೋತ್ ಸ್ಟಾಪ್ ಆಗಿಬಿಡುತ್ತಾ, ಇದನ್ನು ಕ್ರಿಟಿಕಲ್ ಕಾನ್ಸಂಟ್ರೇಷನ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಕರೀತೀರಿ. ಮುಂದಿನ ಕ್ವಶನ್, ದಿ ಡಿಫಿಷಿಯನ್ಸಿ ಸಿಂಪ್ಟಮ್ಸ್ tend to appear first in. ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ಸ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಡಿಫಿಷಿಯನ್ಸಿ ಆದರೆ ಅದರದ್ದು ಸಿಂಪ್ಟಮ್ಸ್ಗಳು ಯಾವ ಪಾರ್ಟಲ್ಲಿ ಮೊದಲು ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತವೆ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಕ್ವಶನ್. ಮೊದಲು ಕಾಣಿಸೋ ಸಿಂಪ್ಟಮ್ಸ್ಗಳು ಈ ಥರ ಡಿಫಿಷಿಯನ್ಸಿ ಆದರೆ ಯಾರಲ್ಲಿ ಕಾಣುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಓಲ್ಡರ್ ಟಿಶ್ಯೂಸ್ನಲ್ಲಿ. ಓಲ್ಡರ್ ಟಿಶ್ಯೂಸ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಡಿಫಿಷಿಯನ್ಸಿ ಅಕ್ಯುಮುಲೇಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಇದರಿಂದ ಯಂಗ್ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ಸ್ ಕೂಡ, ಯಂಗ್ ಟಿಶ್ಯೂಸ್ ಕೂಡ ಡೆವಲಪ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ನಡೆಯೋದೇ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಸಿಂಪ್ಟಮ್ಸನ್ನು ನಾವು ನೋಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಸಿಗೋದು ಓಲ್ಡರ್ ಲೀವ್ಸ್ನಲ್ಲಿ. ಈಗ ನೈಟ್ರೋಜನ್ ಡಿಫಿಷಿಯನ್ಸಿ ಆದರೆ ಕ್ಲೋರೋಸಿಸ್ ಆಗೋದು, ಎಲೆ ಯೆಲ್ಲೋ ಕಲರ್ ಆಗೋದು. ಯಾವುದರಲ್ಲಿ ಯೆಲ್ಲೋ ಕಲರ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಕೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಅದು ಓಲ್ಡರ್ ಟಿಶ್ಯೂಸ್ನಲ್ಲಿ, ಓಲ್ಡ್ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ಸ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ವಿ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ನೋಟಿಸ್ ದಿ ಡಿಫಿಷಿಯನ್ಸಿ ಸಿಂಪ್ಟಮ್ಸ್ ಈಸಿಲಿ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್, ನೆಕ್ರೋಸಿಸ್ ಇನ್ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ಸ್ ಅಕ್ಕರ್ಸ್ ಮೇನ್ಲಿ ಬೈ ದಿ ಡಿಫಿಷಿಯನ್ಸಿ ಆಫ್. ನೆಕ್ರೋಸಿಸ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಕೇಳಿದ್ದೀವಿ, ನೆಕ್ರೋಸಿಸ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಡೆತ್ ಆಫ್ ಟಿಶ್ಯೂ ಅಂಡ್ ಸೆಲ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ಸ್ ಡ್ಯೂ ಟು ದಿ ಡಿಫಿಷಿಯನ್ಸಿ ಆಫ್ ಮೇನ್ ಆಗಿ ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಶಿಯಂ ಮತ್ತು ಮೆಗ್ನೀಷಿಯಂ. ಹಾಗಿದ್ರೆ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಆಪ್ಷನ್ ಎ. ಮುಂದಿನ ಕ್ವಶನ್, ಡಿಲೇ ಆಫ್ ಫ್ಲವರಿಂಗ್ ಇನ್ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ಸ್ ಕಾಸ್ಡ್ ಬೈ ದಿ ಡಿಫಿಷಿಯನ್ಸಿ ಆಫ್. ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ಸ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಫ್ಲವರ್ ಪ್ರೊಡಕ್ಷನ್ ಸ್ಲೋ ಆಗಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಇಲ್ಲ ಡಿಲೇ ಆಗಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಯಾವ ನ್ಯೂಟ್ರಿಯೆಂಟ್ಸ್ದು ಡಿಫಿಷಿಯನ್ಸಿ ಅನ್ನೋ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಗೆ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಆಪ್ಷನ್ ಡಿ ನೈಟ್ರೋಜನ್, ಸಲ್ಫರ್ ಮತ್ತು ಮಾಲಿಬ್ಡಿನಮ್. ಕ್ಲೋರೋಸಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಅ ಟೈಪ್ ಆಫ್ ಡಿಫಿಷಿಯನ್ಸಿ ಸಿಂಪ್ಟಮ್ ಇನ್ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ಸ್ ರೆಫರ್ಸ್ ಟು. ಕ್ಲೋರೋಸಿಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಡೆತ್ ಆಫ್ ಕ್ಲೋರೋಫಿಲ್ ಪಿಗ್ಮೆಂಟ್. ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಫಾರ್ ದಿಸ್ ಈಸ್ ಆಪ್ಷನ್ ಡಿ. ಮುಂದಿನ ಕ್ವಶನ್. The appearance of brown spots surrounded by chlorotic veins is due to deficiency of magnesium. Magnesium deficiency ಆದರೆ magnesium deficiency ಇನ್ನೊಂದ್ಸಾರಿ ನೋಡಿ ಕ್ವಶನ್. appearance of brown spots surrounded by chlorotic vein. ಬ್ರೌನ್ ಸ್ಪಾಟ್ಸ್ಗಳು ಅದ್ರ ಸುತ್ತಲೂ ಯೆಲ್ಲೋ ಕಲರ್ ಆಗೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಕಾರಣ ಡಿಫಿಷಿಯನ್ಸಿ ಆಫ್ ಮೆಗ್ನೀಷಿಯಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಟಾಕ್ಸಿಸಿಟಿ ಆಫ್ ಮ್ಯಾಂಗನೀಸ್. ಮ್ಯಾಂಗನೀಸ್ ಟಾಕ್ಸಿಸಿಟಿಯಿಂದ ಈ ಒಂದು ಗುಣಲಕ್ಷಣನ ನೋಡ್ತೀರಿ. ಸುತ್ತಲೂ ಡಾರ್ಕ್ ಬ್ರೌನ್ ಸ್ಪಾಟ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಅದ್ರ ಸುತ್ತಲೂ ಯೆಲ್ಲೋ ಕಲರ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಈ ಥರ ಚುಕ್ಕಿ ಚುಕ್ಕಿ ಆಗೋದು ಎಲೆಗಳ ಮೇಲೆ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಕಾರಣ ಟಾಕ್ಸಿಸಿಟಿ ಆಫ್ ಮ್ಯಾಂಗನೀಸ್. ದಿ ಪ್ರೋಸೆಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಕನ್ವರ್ಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ಅಟ್ಮಾಸ್ಫಿಯರಿಕ್ ನೈಟ್ರೋಜನ್ ಇಂಟು ನೈಟ್ರೋಜಿನಸ್ ಕಾಂಪೌಂಡ್ಸ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಅಮೋನಿಯಾ. ಈ ಪ್ರೋಸೆಸ್ ಹೇಳುತ್ತಾ ನೈಟ್ರೋಜನ್ ಫಿಕ್ಸೇಷನ್ ಡೆಫಿನೇಷನ್. ನೈಟ್ರೋಜನ್ ಫಿಕ್ಸೇಷನ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಅಮೋನಿಯಾ ಕನ್ವರ್ಟ್ ಇನ್ ನೈಟ್ರೋಜನ್ ಕನ್ವರ್ಟ್ ಇಂಟು ಅಮೋನಿಯಾ. ಮುಂದಿನ ಕ್ವಶನ್. ದಿ ಪ್ರೋಸೆಸ್ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಆಪೋಸಿಟ್ ಟು ನೈಟ್ರೋಜನ್ ಫಿಕ್ಸೇಷನ್ ಈಸ್ ಡಿನೈಟ್ರಿಫಿಕೇಶನ್. ನೈಟ್ರೋಜನ್ ಫಿಕ್ಸೇಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೈಟ್ರೋಜನ್ ಅಮೋನಿಯಾ ಕನ್ವರ್ಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಡಿನೈಟ್ರಿಫಿಕೇಶನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅಮೋನಿಯಾ ಕನ್ವರ್ಟ್ ಇಂಟು ನೈಟ್ರೋಜನ್. Decomposition of organic nitrogen of dead plants and animals into ammonia is called ammonification. ಮುಂದಿನ ಕ್ವಶನ್. Symbiotic bacteria found in root nodules of which of the plant family ಅನ್ನೋ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಗೆ ಆನ್ಸರ್ root nodules present in Leguminosa family. ಮುಂದಿನ ಕ್ವಶನ್. Minerals are absorbed by the plants in the form of. Plants absorb minerals in the form of solution. For solution formation, water combines with ions. Ions can form solution, and only in the form of solution plants can uptake minerals. Answer for this is option B. A farmer added azotobacter culture to soil before sowing maize. Which mineral element will be replenished by doing so? Azotobacter culture ಅನ್ನು ಸಾಯಿಲ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ಸೇರಿಸಿದ್ದೇ ಆದರೆ ಅಜಟೋಬ್ಯಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಈಸ್ ಒನ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ನೈಟ್ರೋಜನ್ ಫಿಕ್ಸೇಟರ್. ಇದರಿಂದ ನೈಟ್ರೋಜನ್ ಲೆವೆಲ್ ಸಾಯಿಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗುತ್ತಾ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಫಾರ್ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಆಪ್ಷನ್ ಎ. ಐಡೆಂಟಿಫೈ ದಿ ಫ್ರೀ ಲಿವಿಂಗ್ ನೈಟ್ರೋಜನ್ ಫಿಕ್ಸಿಂಗ್ ಏರೋಬಿಕ್ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ಟೀರಿಯಂ. ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರೋದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ಫ್ರೀ ಲಿವಿಂಗ್ ಏರೋಬಿಕ್ ನೈಟ್ರೋಜನ್ ಫಿಕ್ಸೇಟರ್ ಈಸ್ ಆಪ್ಷನ್ ಬಿ ಅಜಟೋಬ್ಯಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಬೆಜರಂಕಿಯಾ. ಮುಂದಿನ ಕ್ವಶನ್. ನಾಸ್ಟಾಕ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಅನಾಬೀನಾ ಫ್ರೀ ಲಿವಿಂಗ್ ನೈಟ್ರೋಜನ್ ಫಿಕ್ಸೇಟರ್ಸ್ ಬಿಲಾಂಗ್ಸ್ ಟು. ಅನಾಬೀನಾ ಮತ್ತು ನಾಸ್ಟಾಕ್ ಫ್ರೀ ಲಿವಿಂಗ್ ನೈಟ್ರೋಜನ್ ಫಿಕ್ಸೇಟರ್ಸ್ ಇವರು ಸೈನೋ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ಟೀರಿಯಾ ಗ್ರೂಪ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಬರ್ತಾರೆ. ಆಪ್ಷನ್ ಡಿ ಇಸ್ ದಿ ಆನ್ಸರ್. ಮುಂದಿನ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ. ಹೌ ಮೆನಿ ರಿಡಕ್ಷನ್ ರಿಯಾಕ್ಷನ್ಸ್ takes place for the conversion of one nitrogen molecule into two molecules of ammonia by nitrogenase enzyme. Nitrogenase enzyme action ನಲ್ಲಿ nitrogen convert into two molecules of NH3 ammonia ಗೆ convert ಆಗುತ್ತಾ with 3 reductional divisions. 3 times addition of hydrogen ions takes place. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ 3 ಸಾರಿ reductional division ಆಗುತ್ತಾ, reductional reaction ಆಗುತ್ತಾ for the formation of a molecule of ammonia. Answer for this is option B. ಮುಂದಿನ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ. ಅಸರ್ಷನ್ ಅನ್ನ ನೋಡಿ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರೋ ರೀಸನ್ ಸರಿ ಇದೆಯಾ ತಪ್ಪಿದೆಯಾ ಇದನ್ನ ನೋಡಿ ಆಪ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ನ ಗುರುತಿಸಬೇಕು. ಅಸರ್ಷನ್ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ನೈಟ್ರೋಜನ್ ಫಿಕ್ಸಿಂಗ್ ಎನ್ಸೈಮ್ ಇನ್ ರೂಟ್ ನಾಡ್ಯೂಲ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಲೆಗ್ಯುಮಿನಸ್ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ಸ್ ಫಂಕ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಅಟ್ ಲೋ ಆಕ್ಸಿಜನ್ ಕಾನ್ಸಂಟ್ರೇಷನ್. ರೀಸನ್, ಲೋ ಆಕ್ಸಿಜನ್ ಕಾನ್ಸಂಟ್ರೇಷನ್ is provided by leg hemoglobin. Nitrogen fixing enzyme, nitrogenase enzyme present in the root nodules. For the nitrogen fixation, it requires anaerobic condition. In presence of oxygen, nitrogenase enzyme undergo oxidation and it cannot fix the atmospheric nitrogen. So, in the root nodules, for proper fixation of nitrogen, nitrogenase enzyme requires anaerobic condition. Oxygen should not be there. This anaerobic condition for nitrogenase enzyme in root nodules provided by leg hemoglobin. Assertion ಗೆ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರುವಂತ ರೀಸನ್ ಸರಿಯಾಗಿದೆ. Nitrogen fixing enzymes in the root nodules of leguminous plants function at low oxygen level, that is in anaerobic condition. ಈ anaerobic condition or low oxygen concentration is provided by leg hemoglobin. ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರೋ assertion ಗೆ ರೀಸನ್ ಸರಿಯಾಗಿರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಆಪ್ಷನ್ ಎ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. Both A and R are true and R is the correct explanation of A. Thank you.